While Europe's arms giants competed for headlines, Finland, Norway, and Estonia quietly signed contracts that brought 136 South Korean K9 Thunders into the Nordic arsenal, years before Poland's $22 billion super deal. These early moves replaced Cold War relics, and they exposed a secret. The future of European artillery would be decided in the icy north, not in Berlin or Paris. But why did anyone trust an unknown howitzer from Asia? And what happened when the world finally noticed? Finland's army faced a hard deadline. Their 2S-1 Gvozdika howitzers, relics of the Cold War, were no longer up to the task. Norway's M109A3GN fleet dated back over 50 years, and Estonia's D-30 and FH-70 guns belonged to a different era. These old systems struggled with modern ammunition, lacked digital fire control, and could not keep pace with NATO standards. Meanwhile, European suppliers like Germany and France dominated the market with the PZH-2000 and Caesar, but their howitzers came with high price tags and delivery times stretching 2 or 3 years. For Nordic defense ministries, the gap was urgent. Artillery that could fire farther, move faster, and integrate with NATO needed to arrive in months, not years. In February 2017, Finland signed a contract for 48 K9 Thunder howitzers, valued at 146 million euros. The deal included training, spare parts, and a long-term support package, with deliveries set from 2017 to 2024. Norway followed in December 2017, ordering 24 K9 units and 6 K10 resupply vehicles for $215 million. Estonia joined in June 2018, buying 12 K9 units for 46 million euros. Each variant was tailored for NATO communication systems. These decisions did not come out of thin air. Finnish trials at Rovajärvi in late 2016 put the K9 through Arctic conditions, testing mobility, protection, and firepower. Colonel Pertti Holma, the Army's artillery inspector, later praised the system's reliability in training and live fire drills. Norway's own evaluations in deep snow convinced their parliament to approve a foreign buy rather than upgrade their aging M109s. Estonia, looking to modernize quickly, coordinated closely with Finland for shared training and integration. The contracts were more than numbers on paper. They represented a deliberate break from the European status quo. By choosing surplus K9s from South Korean army stocks, the Nordics secured rapid delivery at a fraction of Western costs. Upgrades, painting, and integration were handled locally by Milog Oy in Finland and by Kongsberg in Norway and in Estonia, ensuring each country's requirements were met. Within 8 months, 84 K9 systems were on order across the region, setting the stage for a new era in Northern European artillery. Hanwha's K9 Thunder brought a new set of numbers to the battlefield, numbers that answered every Nordic requirement for speed, firepower, and survival. The heart of the system is a 155mm 52 caliber gun, able to hurl shells over 40 kilometers with standard ammunition and past 50 kilometers when using rocket-assisted projectiles. Each vehicle carries 48 rounds on board, loaded by a semi-automatic system that keeps the 5-person crew working under armor, protected from shrapnel and chemical threats. In a rapid-fire scenario, the K9 can launch 3 rounds in just 15 seconds, using a technique called multiple rounds simultaneous impact. For sustained barrages, it keeps up 6 shots per minute, enough to saturate a target and then relocate before counter-battery fire arrives. Mobility matches its firepower. The K9 weighs 47 tons, but a 1,000 horsepower diesel engine pushes it to 67 kilometers per hour on roads. In Arctic trials, it started reliably at sub-zero temperatures and crossed deep snow without bogging down. Welded steel armor protects against heavy machine gun fire and shell fragments, while advanced suspension smooths out rough terrain from frozen forests to muddy fields. Digital fire control links each gun to NATO command systems, allowing crews to receive and execute fire missions in seconds. Resupply is just as fast. The K10 ammunition vehicle, built on the same chassis, rolls up behind the howitzer and transfers shells automatically, 12 per minute, without exposing a single crew member. This closed-loop system keeps the guns loaded and the crews safe, even under indirect fire or chemical threat. What set the K9 apart was not just its battlefield stats, it was the pace of production. Hanwha's Changwon factory could deliver a finished system in about 180 days, thanks to modular assembly lines and a steady supply chain. Western competitors like Germany's PZH 2000 or France's Caesar often required 2 or 3 years per unit, with long backlogs and higher costs. For Nordic buyers facing urgent gaps, the K9's tempo made the difference between waiting and fielding a modern force within a single defense cycle. By 2025, the Nordic artillery fleet had grown far beyond the first wave of contracts. Finland, Norway, and Estonia collectively fielded 136 K9 howitzers, each one tested, upgraded, and integrated for regional defense. Estonia's numbers tripled, reaching 36 K9s after adding new orders in response to lessons from Ukraine. Norway expanded to 52 K9s and 14 K10 resupply vehicles, equipping its brigades along the Russian border and deepening its logistics network with Finland. The combined investment approached 600 million euros, but the true value lay in what came next: operational proof in some of Europe's most demanding conditions. This growth mattered. Between 2018 and 2022, Nordic forces put the K9 through a gauntlet of Arctic winters, NATO drills, and multinational live-fire exercises. In northern Norway, K9 Vidar units fired during Cold Response 2022, operating in temperatures plunging below -25 degrees Celsius. Crews reported flawless cold starts, rapid fire missions, and seamless integration with NATO digital command networks. Finnish and Estonian batteries joined annual exercises like Arrow and Seal, where K9s maneuvered across frozen forests, delivered sustained barrages, and linked up with Allied forces using standardized NATO communications. Cold conditions proved the system's resilience. Reliability became a signature trait. Reports from these exercises highlighted not just the K9's firepower, but its ability to relocate after firing, avoid counter-battery strikes, and keep crews protected inside armored hulls. The K10 resupply vehicles proved their worth as well, transferring shells automatically in the field so that no crew needed to leave the vehicle even under threat. Maintenance and spare parts systems matured quickly, culminating in a 2023 logistics pact that let Norway and Finland share critical components without bureaucratic delays. This period of rigorous field use gave the K9 something Western rivals struggled to match: a track record of proven performance in real-world multinational operations. Defense planners across Europe took notice. The term strategic market validation began to circulate among analysts, describing how the Nordic experience quietly lowered the risk for larger buyers. The K9 was no longer just a fast, affordable import. It was a system tested and trusted at the northern edge of NATO. Poland's decision in 2022 redrew the map of European artillery. The Ministry of Defense signed for 672 K9 Thunder howitzers, a figure nearly 5 times the entire Nordic fleet combined. The deal was part of a $22 billion package that also included K2 Siu tanks and Chunmoo rocket launchers. It set new records for both scale and ambition. Deliveries began within months, with the first Korean-built K9s rolling into Polish army depots by the end of the year. By 2026, assembly lines in Poland will shift production from imports to locally built K9 PL variants, aiming for up to 120 units per year. This was more than a purchase. It was an industrial transformation. Unlike the Nordics, who imported finished vehicles and handled upgrades at home, Poland demanded technology transfer and local manufacturing. The plan called for Polish companies like PGZ and Huta Stalowa Wola to absorb Hanwha's production methods, train workers, and eventually export K9s to other European buyers. The scope included not just artillery, but also ammunition, resupply vehicles, and digital command systems tailored to Polish doctrine. The numbers tell their own story. Poland's 672 K9s cost an estimated $12 to $14 billion, with each unit priced between $13 and $15 million once local content, upgrades, and support are factored in. By the end of 2025, more than 1,800 K9 howitzers will be in service worldwide, with Poland's order alone accounting for more than 1/3 of all new deliveries in Europe. Hanwha's share of the global self-propelled howitzer market crossed the 50% mark, overtaking Western rivals who once set the standard for NATO artillery. For Poland, the K9 became more than a weapon. It was a statement of intent. The country's artillery force, once reliant on Soviet-era systems, now stood at the center of Europe's largest rearmament since the Cold War. The scale dwarfed the cautious step-by-step approach taken by Finland, Norway, and Estonia. Where the Nordics validated the K9 in harsh conditions and joint exercises, Poland proved it could be built, fielded, and sustained at industrial scale. Today, Nordic decisions echo across Europe's artillery landscape. As new threats push nations to rearm faster than ever, proven systems matter more than promises. The real test isn't firepower, it's trust. In a world of shifting alliances, who validates your weapons now shapes who stands with you tomorrow.